It's Sunday morning, and every decent man and woman is listening to Test Miles with Nick Miles on FM News 101 KXL. Buckle in.
As stated, it is Sunday morning and time to talk cars for the next 60 minutes on your weekly automotive experience. I'm Nick Miles, and you are listening to America's automotive radio show, Test Miles, locally created and nationally celebrated. We've assembled a team of car freaks at the station to enlighten you with witty banter, useful information, and fun automotive topics. Our team in the studio this week is Oli, the Viking Volvo seller. You're back again this week.
Yes, I am. Good day.
You had some crud last week.
Well, it's a mix of that, and I had to watch, I had to hang with the kids, and I didn't want to bring all three of them in, so.
3 of the kids or 3 cruds?
Either or.
Either or. Zhenya, our intern, is here. Zhenya, this is your second show?
Yes, it is my second show.
And you turned up?
Yes, I did turn up this week.
Your mother told me, Zhenya is only 13, we should mention this. Your mother told me that you have to intern until summer next year.
Yeah, so that's about after school.
Are you going to manage it?
Totally.
It's our challenge to see if we can make you quit.
Well, it's starting to rain here, and, our cars do need wash. We have a salesman who has a whole lot of cars.
Yeah. Joel Krebs, also our one of the sales guys here, he owns picture cars, and who does all the movie cars. So there's probably several hundred cars he needs washing.
Because that was my first comment when you said we had an intern. I was like, yes, my car gets washed every week.
And Sean is here, our car and cat lover. This week, have you been at home all week?
No, I've actually been at the beach crapping.
Oh, you have? That's right.
Yes. But I was driving
thinking,
out there.
You didn't fly anywhere and test drive any cars?
No, I didn't fly anywhere. I just stayed at home.
Good for you, man. It's good to stay at home once in a while. All right, lots of news from F1 motor racing. We talked about this last week, and in response to Biaggi's crash, the FIA wants to slow drivers down in yellow flag zones. F1 looks set to test a new software and procedures next time out in Austin that will automatically limit the speed of cars through double-waved yellow flag zones. It seems to be a feasible idea, according to Fernando Alonso. It is the governing FIA's reaction to Jules Biaggi's life-threatening collision with a recovery vehicle at the Suzuka F1 race a week ago, when the Frenchman lost control of his car despite the waving of yellow flags. But it seems that drivers themselves have also been at the center of the whole idea to slow down and have this new software introduced. Fernando Alonso tells the Italy's Auto Sprint that I was the one that raised the issue when in a meeting with Charles Whiting earlier in Russia. Now, Lewis Hamilton won the inaugural Russian GP, and Nico Rosberg finished second as Mercedes took a 1-2 clinch. Good for them. President Putin and Bernie Ecclestone from F1 were seen at the reception area shaking hands. Russia's president there for the glory, of course, flanked by 6 or 7 beautiful Russian young ladies, as he does all the time. So let's get back to that injury last week. By the way, Hamilton, as I said, won. It looked really great if you didn't see it on TV. The British national anthem played as Hamilton and Mercedes picked up their respective trophies, and congratulations to both of them. But let's get back to that injury from last week. So we talked about it on the show. 25-year-old Jules Biaggi suffered a diffused axial injury after hitting a safety vehicle at the Suzuka circuit, and he remains in stable but critical condition. We are not sure whether he's regained consciousness or not, but he was breathing on his own when he came out of surgery. Now, the other controversy that surrounds this is that International Courier Service, DHL, has been forced to apologize for a Facebook post in which they asked for likes regarding Jules Biaggi's F1 crash. But while most sent their heartfelt best wishes to the 25-year-old, DHL's media team saw the opportunity to pick up a few extra Facebook likes, resulting in a backlash from the international sports fan community. Their post on Sunday night read, "Ghastly accident in Japan. Jules Biaggi is fighting for his life. By clicking like on this occasion, you'll be sending Jules your best wishes for a speedy recovery." And then they use the hashtag Forza Jules. Is that good or is it bad?
I don't even know.
They're asking you to like the fact that he had the accident to send best wishes.
Yeah. I mean, it's so tough. So many little things like this get misconstrued. Maybe they had like, hey, click like to send thoughts and prayers, and wording is very important when everything's out there in the interweb.
I think it sounds to me very mercenary. Doesn't it sound mercenary to you, the fact that they were trying to get likes out of it?
Well, it seems like nobody wants to let a missed opportunity go to maybe get some attention, and you should probably just leave some stuff alone, I think.
Perhaps it would have been better if maybe it's Facebook's responsible, and they should have a support button rather than a like button.
Yeah.
Because, when you read a story about something tragic that happens, if you like that story, do you like the fact that something tragic happened?
Well, I think you just need to not put it in a way to where it's a call for action, like, hey, like this, we want to see how many likes we can get.
Right.
You can just put a post on there that says, our thoughts and prayers are with, him and his family. And then you're going to get likes and comments. But when you're asking for people to like an event, that's negative, I don't think it can ever turn out good.
It's just a tricky thing. You can't. You have to post certain ththings, but
I think their intentions were good. I mean, I hope their intentions were good. I hope they weren't trying to peddle this as, hey, the Facebook team were going, DHL were going, hey, we could get loads of likes for this. You hope their intentions were good, but again, you're right. Everybody sees these opportunities. It's as soon as a major incident happens in the car world or outside the car world, what happens on Facebook? Everybody reposts the story.
Right.
And it's just, and Twitter's the same way. We repost, so you follow us. So it's difficult to know what the intention is behind it. Should we leave this to the news organizations like us to report it, or should we leave it to individuals? Because sometimes individuals are faster. People who are at trackside when these things happen can report them. So it just becomes a competition for who can get the most attention. All right, that's the F1 update news today. What's coming up on this morning's show? We are going to be talking to the man that probably has the best job in the world, Eric Shepard. He is the big cheese over at Rolls-Royce North America. He's the president, and we're going to talk about their brand new car. We have the news quiz, and also we're going to be talking about pretty interesting cars that we've been driving this week. One of them, one end of the scale, $250,000. The other one at the other end of the scale, about $20,000. So a big difference in you could actually have maybe, 12 versions of one car?
Yeah.
Or one version of the other car. We'll be talking about that and what we've been driving this week. Oli has his deal of the week. You're listening to FM News 101 KXL. This is Test Miles, and I'm Nick Miles.
Test Miles, like NASCAR, but with one right turn. TestMiles.com.
And of course, you can find out more at TestMiles.com. Recent podcasts are available at TestMiles.com. Just click on the upper right-hand corner on the button there that says Podcasts Radio Shows. Here is a fun fact for you you can impress your friends with. The first automobile race happened in 1895. Brad was there, but unfortunately he's sick today and not in the studio. Rolls-Royce Limited was created over a famous lunch in May 1904. Henry Royce, a successful engineer, struck a deal with Charles Rolls, owner of the first car dealership, or one of the first car dealerships. The rest is basically history. The ensuing series of 2, 3, 4, and 6-cylinder cars broke the mold for engineering and craftsmanship. And the Silver Ghost, launched in 1907, was a car of legendary smoothness that competed in a 14,371-mile race, a non-stop race. Created the best car in the world legend from that race. And now the Ghost's designers were inspired by a photograph of Don Carlos de Salamanca in the 1913 Spanish Grand Prix. His serene expression after winning the grueling 190-mile race in his Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost suggested the simple and effortless driving experience that he had. And they are basically recreated in the 21st century Ghost. I was recently on a Rolls-Royce Ghost event. We went to Dallas, Texas last week for the introduction of the Rolls-Royce Ghost Series 2. And joining us on the show this morning is the guy with the best job in the world. Eric Shepard is president of Rolls-Royce Motorcars North America. Eric, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Nick. It's a pleasure.
Eric, your customers didn't really want you to change the vehicle very much, so you made minimal changes to updating it, didn't you?
Yeah, whenever we look at the time to update a vehicle, we do it very carefully and in a very measured approach. Obviously, someone that spends $300,000 or $400,000 on a vehicle doesn't want to see a radical change to that vehicle very frequently. So it fits right in with our brand principles, particularly the timeless appeal. So as you got a chance to see firsthand in Dallas, the approach that we took is exactly that. It's very measured, very careful, yet incorporates all the latest technology and gives the car a very refreshed and refined look, yet does not take away at all from the previous Ghost. And if you put the two of them side by side, you would certainly see the very careful resemblance between the two.
So what is new on the Series 2?
You know, when you look at the front end in particular, everything from the windshield, we call it the A-pillar, as you know, everything forward of that, all the new sheet metal there is completely new for this model. The dimensions really haven't changed on the car, so, you know, through the appearance and through some of the technology in the headlights, such as the unbroken daytime running light, you know, we gave it a very significant and a dynamic look to that front end, and we moved the headlights out to the sides a little bit, so it gives it the appeal or the appearance of a bigger vehicle, yet the dimensions overall haven't changed. And then on the grille and the bumper, we made them a little bit larger, a little bit higher. We took our Spirit of Ecstasy and leaned her forward just 5 to 7 degrees to give it a little bit more of an aggressive stance. And it just those subtle little things change the overall appearance and the dynamic view of that vehicle.
Definitely in love with the vehicle. I mean, I was in love with the Series 1, but definitely in love with the Series 2 as well. But Rolls-Royce is so much more than the car. It's kind of a state of mind as well. So what does Rolls-Royce mean to a customer who buys this vehicle?
Our customers are certainly among the most successful in their fields, whether it be an entrepreneur that has developed a company and has taken it public, or whether they're athletes or celebrities. So the vehicle itself is a recognition of kind of the reward for their own hard work and their own success. And the beauty of it is that so many of our customers now are truly self-made. Over 80% of the customers that we see every day are self-made, wealthy entrepreneurs or business people, and they're rewarding themselves that way. So when they're taking their Ghost home, it's kind of an extension of that success that they see during the business day, and it's a bit of a respite, for that hour or so commute that they have on the way home.
And definitely through the success of the TestMiles radio show, I'll be buying one for everybody in the studio here. The design, it's sort of designed for the entrepreneur, though. You talk about the success level of these people, but even when you get into the back of the car, it can be used as somewhere to rest while you transport it between two different locations, or it can be used for something like an office away from the home, and you can dial this vehicle in. You have the picnic tables, you have the whole technology that pulls you into the back, and you can work as well, right?
It's truly created for every potential need for a business person. We like to refer to it as the ultimate successful business person's business tool. And yes, whether you're driving it yourself, it gives you that invigoration of what you're actually experiencing and driving, or if you're being driven and you're enjoying the ride from the rear compartment, you have everything there that can continue your workday if needed, even have a business meeting in the rear compartment of the vehicle, and truly be an extension of your workday.
I know that looking through the vehicle, there's some very significant things to me that nobody else really does. Because of the wool carpets in the back, I've always been encouraged to take, and in the front for that matter, I've been encouraged to take my shoes off when I get in and drive the vehicle, because you've really made it luxurious for everywhere, including the feet, haven't you?
We really have. It is very tempting. I have to fight it to keep my shoes on while I'm driving, but my wife certainly encourages me to kick those shoes off when we're in the seated in the rear compartment. As we went to an event this Friday night and happened to have the opportunity to be chauffeured, so that we could both enjoy that. And you definitely get spoiled feeling that super thick lamb's wool carpet in the back and run it through your toes. It's truly a luxurious feeling.
And then the leather of the seat on the seats. I mean, you take the leather from bulls. You take so there's no stretch marks. You take the leather from animals that are above a certain height, 1,500 feet, I believe it is. So there's no mosquito bites in the hide. And then you really, when you color the leather, you soak it in the dye. So if it gets scratched, there's no damage. You can't see the damage on a mild scratch on the inside of the car. And that must take hours and hours of extra work to make this vehicle so perfect.
I would put it more in the days and weeks of extra work. Whatever we do, whether it's leather, wood, technology, we don't do anything that is not totally measured and totally done over the top for our customers. As you've seen and heard from us over time, one of the principles we live by is strive for perfection in everything we do. And that doesn't matter if it's the small knob on the heating and ventilation system, whether it's a button to roll down the window, or if it is the absolute thing that you're going to touch most often, and that is the leather seating surfaces. We truly go out of our way to make sure that every single piece of that car is perfect, and it doesn't matter how long it takes.
And not only that, Eric, you guys, your engineers back in Goodwood in England have pushed forward with some very intuitive pieces of engineering. Your transmission, the adaptive transmission in the vehicle, uses the GPS system to decide what gear you're in, right?
It does. I like to refer to it as your own personal butler handling your transmission, because it is reading through the GPS system and the satellite the satellite navigation system. The transmission is anticipating your needs, and if you're setting up into a turn that is going to be continuing to be a sweeping turn and you're going to exit that, and the car knows exactly how you like to drive, it's going to anticipate it, downshift before you need to shift, and it's going to be in that right gear to keep helping you drive the way you want to drive. The last thing we would want to do is to have a customer feel that when they have to push down on the pedal, there's any sort of delay while a gear is being found by the transmission and allow the car to kind of wind up and accelerate that way. That wouldn't be appropriate for a Rolls-Royce customer or for the brand experience that we deliver. So this is a perfect matching of new technology with the design and needs of our customers, the way they want to drive.
As we quickly approach the end of you, because we're running out of time, tell me a little bit, Eric, about how well Rolls-Royce are doing.
We're very spoiled in that we don't ever chase volume. Yet we have literally over the last 4, 5, 6 years virtually quadrupled the size of the company, and that's just a testament to how well our customers are doing in business, because they're job creators, they're wealth creators, and that transfers over into our world, where this year we're going to sell probably a little bit north of 4,000 vehicles globally, and that'll represent a 5-year trend here for record sales. So we're very excited about where the business is going. But again, being a true low-volume niche player, that's not our goal. It is just truly to build the best motor cars on the road today and to be a profitable company doing so.
Eric Shepard, thanks so much for joining us this morning. You can follow Rolls-Royce at Rolls-Royce on Twitter, or Eric's Twitter handle is PVBShep, SHP. You're listening to Test Miles. I'm Nick Miles.
It's Test Miles on FM News 101.
Sunday morning on FM News 101 KXL. This is Test Miles, Portland's automotive radio show at testmiles.com. Try following us on Facebook. There is a fun fact here for you so you can impress your friends with. You can play Pong on the navigation system in your Saab car? If I'd known that, I'd have never got out of the car. That's exactly how that would have worked for me. All right, how much do you know about what happened in the world of automotive this week? This is the part of the show where we test the in-studio crew on their knowledge of automotive news in our news quiz. So here is question number 1. Teams, are you all ready to go?
Yes.
Everyone have their buzzer or their not buzzer or whatever they're doing?
Yes.
What happened to Tesla after showing off their new safety feature? Sean.
After showing their safety features, which they included an all-wheel drive and a autonomous driving, their stocks fell.
And do we know why?
I don't know, but they went down 7.8% and almost $20 worth in value Friday.
and this seems strange to me. When you introduce a new car, there must have been another reason behind this. Maybe they won't be able to produce it. I'm not sure. But sorry, Tesla. Kia will soon be competing with what Audi's with Audi's A7 with what new car? Genya.
That would be the Kia GT that they showed off in 2011. It's a 390 horsepower rear-wheel drive sedan. It's supposed to rival the Audi A7 coupe-like sedan.
Now, this was a concept car, right?
Yes.
I've seen pictures of this concept car. Now, the interesting thing is they announced at some point that they weren't actually going to make it.
No, but they just announced last week that they are going to make it.
So they've done a complete 360 on this one.
Well,
or
yes.
180.
They probably had to see sales from the K900 and how well they're doing. By the way, I mean, they even just got LeBron James in a commercial with the K900, so kudos to them for getting a big name in their car.
I will tell you that Michael Sprague, the head of Kia marketing, is probably the biggest genius, or one of the biggest geniuses in marketing, because that company has done so well, and they've positioned it so well, and people really understand. And when I was on that recent launch with Kia, telling us that they were actually ahead of quality, 6th in the world in quality. Most people still have that idea in Kia in their head that Kias are not good quality cars. When it comes down to a J.D. Power Associate quality measurement, they're doing extremely well. So thumbs up to Michael and his team. Ford investors are hating which new product? Oli.
That is the upcoming new F-150, and a lot of it has to do where they think it's going to be a great product. They just think it's going to be less profitable than they anticipate. You know, stuff as far as it basically comes down to, I think, the fact that steel is easy and aluminum is going to be tough, and you're going to have a lot more rivets and adhesives and things like that, and just the whole process of having a new truck.
But companies like Jaguar have been doing aluminum for a long time. Maybe they're just not on the scale of Ford.
And Jaguar's sales are doing what now?
Yeah, but it's not because of the aluminum. It's it's the production. But the issue is a lot of people are doing aluminum vehicles. I just don't understand why it's maybe because F-150 is the #1 selling vehicle in the United States.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the amount that they're anticipating. They're anticipating 650,000 F-150s being made. You look at like a Range Rover, something like that, you're talking about 95,000. And an issue with something like a pop rivet gun, things like that, just basically stop all production until that's fixed. So I think it has a lot to do with mass manufacturing, getting it out there, the cost, and all of those things.
All right, next question. Let's look where I am in my questions here. What did Ferrari do for its 60th birthday party? That would be Genya.
They celebrated their 60th birthday party with the Ferrari F60 America. That is the it's a convertible version of the F60. It's got the same engine. They only made 10 of them, and they're already sold out, and it sold for $2.5 million.
Wow. I actually saw Art Smith from Tonkin Gran Turismo down on Facebook, and he was at Rodeo Drive at the Ferrari 60th birthday party, which I must have misplaced my invitation to that. I didn't see one. Next question. For Mazda's 100th anniversary, they plan on having what? Sean.
They are planning on bringing back the rotary engine, but they're also talking about making a RX-9 that is an electric turbocharged rotary engine version, which is awesome because that is like one of my favorite engines of all time. I love the rotary engine.
Yeah, they just couldn't sell enough of them for a while, and they were a bit complicated for them.
They're complicated, but the reason they stopped making them was for fuel economy because it's too hard to make a rotary engine fuel efficient.
Right, and Mazda, of course, is, I think, the EPA's official most fuel-efficient car company in the U.S. because Hyundai were actually excluded from that survey because of their incorrect miles per gallon, which came around last year. Chrysler is planning to do what to the town and country? Oli.
They're planning on making a plug-in hybrid version coming in late 2015, and this will be kind of their first movement into the hybrid segment as far as Fiat Chrysler. So,
what about time? Because I did notice in the recent fuel economy list, the Chrysler Group were at the bottom.
Is there any other hybrid vans?
No.
No, this would be the first hybrid van.
The only plug-in hybrids that I'm aware of is there's a Cayenne, there is an X5, that they're working on, and then Mitsubishi have an Outlander. That's the only three non-car
Cars.
versions.
I mean, you could maybe say the Prius V, but not a
Well, they
van,
still
but
have
it's
more of a
Don't they have like the
wagon.
Tahoe?
Yeah.
Don't they have a Tahoe?
Wait, the Prius.
hybrid?
Prius
Yeah, there's
V.
no hybrid. We're talking about plug-in hybrid.
Oh, right,
the
right.
Prius V is a car, though, right?
Just station wagon.
Yeah,
I mean, the
thing.
best you could call it is a station wagon,
Maybe.
but
Yeah,
it's still a car-based one. All right, one more time.
It's
Time
a
for one more.
regular-sized one.
Time for one more question. Who just recalled their top-selling sedan to do something popping up in your face with?
That would be the Nissan, and they're recalling the 2013 Altima because the hood will pop up and hit the windshield while you're driving.
That is not good.
Is that a big deal? Really?
You don't need it. I mean, if you have like Rover's, or that illumination one they have, or that virtual reality hood.
Oh, so when your windshield,
Yeah.
no, your windshield it
Cracks.
becomes your
Yeah.
whole driving screen.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that would work, but I don't.
I've seen it in movies. You just push it to the side.
You do? Oh, okay. I'll remember that if the hood pops up when I'm driving a vehicle. All right, that's our news quiz for this week. When we come back, we're going to be talking about what we've been driving this week, and Oli has in his back pocket the deal of a week. This is a car which is for sale that we will tell you about this week, which is, we believe, as car experts, is an incredible deal, and you should run out and get if you're in the market for a new vehicle. That's all coming up. You're listening to Test Miles. I'm Nick Miles.
Throw it in neutral and coast in with TestMiles.com.
You're listening to Test Block. You're listening to Test Miles on FM News 101 KXL. We lost our script for a second there. Everyone was struggling. Sorry for that little pause. It's a Sunday morning, and you can listen to podcasts of our show at testmiles.com. And follow us on Twitter at TestMiles as well. Here's a fun fact you can impress your friends with, and this is an interesting one. The first traffic light was in Britain. It was placed in 1927. Again, Brad could tell us all about that, but he's not actually here today. So what have we been driving this week? Well, we have been driving a variety of different cars. I'm going to start off because I had a bit of competition to the Rolls-Royce Ghost Series 2. I was driving the Bentley Continental GTC V8. Now, you've probably seen this around Portland for a while. I brought it into Kink on Friday when I was on with Sheila and Marconi, and they were taking pictures of it. It's called Glacier Blue, but it's this sort of light blue. So if you've been driving around Portland and you've seen this convertible light blue Bentley, that's the press car that I've been driving. A two-door, four-seater convertible. It's a world-class interior. It's powerful engine, and it's easy to drive. Now, I would say some of the things that people complain about are the cramped rear seats. Get over it. Most competition handles a little better, a lot of people think, although we've driven the V12 and the V8 version of this, and I would say I kind of like the V8 better. And Sean was saying that it's a little more nimble, right?
Yeah, I think it's a lot more lighter. It's responsive. I mean, yes, the W12 has a lot more power, but this one's just a better drive all around.
4-liter twin-turbo V8 6, and it also has a turbocharge. And there's the W12, which you can get in this as well in the S. 500 horsepower in the V8, 8-speed shiftable automatic, all-wheel drive. I used the paddle shifters yesterday. Went to a wedding in Oregon City and came back through Carver using the paddle shifters, and it was just amazing, leaving all the tractors in the dust, which were trying to catch up with me to have a look what I was driving. I was out in farm country.
That sounds nice.
14 to 24 miles a gallon is what you can expect on fuel economy. Competition, it's hard to say, but Maserati Gran Turismo, Mercedes S-Class Coupe, the BMW 6 Series, probably, although they really aren't good competitors to this. I think that the tech in it is great audio system, fairly easy to use navigation and infotainment system. You can interface all of your iPods with this vehicle, although I will tell you something. I have a brand new phone, which is a very limited and special edition phone called a OnePlus One. You can only get the phone by invitation. It will not pair with this car because the car doesn't recognize the phone because it's so new. So there's probably a bit of technology updating, but I doubt many people are going to have that problem.
Well, that's the problem you get for getting a phone that's not even out in market yet.
I know. I'm sorry. And navigation system with Google Maps compatibility and real-time traffic info included as well. The price of the one we have outside is starting price of $216,200. The options on it are $31,145, which actually happens to be the exact price that you would pay for a 2014 Toyota Camry Hybrid.
I'd rather have those options than the Camry Hybrid.
Yeah, so you could have that. Also been test driving the other end of the scale this week, the Honda Civic. It's a five-seater, four-door, five-seater, the version that we've been driving. A wide variety of powertrains, including a hybrid and a natural gas version. Honda do a great job. There's lots of screens on the inside. You get lots of data information. Sound system leaves a little bit to be desired. A 1.8-liter four-cylinder, 143 horsepower with that CVT transmission. Front-wheel drive, up to 39 miles a gallon. Competes with the Ford Focus, Toyota Corolla, Nissan Sentra, Chevy Cruze, Mitsubishi Lancer, Kia Forte, Hyundai Elantra, and Mazda 3. Comes in a number of different trim levels with and without Navi package. The LX, the SE, the EX, the AXL. The CD player, auxiliary jack, and plenty of places to plug in all of your latest information. Drives nimbly, a perfect everyday driver car. I would say I have no major complaints about it, apart from the fact that Honda update it every year. So they seem to come out with a new version every year because they come out with one and people don't like it, so they do it again and people don't like it. But it's still the number one or number two selling compact sedan in that segment. $18,490 starting price. Sean.
I was driving the 2015 Nissan Rogue. It's great. We took it out to the beach, everything. Third row seating, best in class, starting price, headroom, and cargo room as well. There's enough cargo room so you can lay all the seats down and lay a 8-foot ladder in the Rogue. Technology on it, they have their Nissan 360, which basically gives you a full panoramic view of what's around your vehicle.
Now, they were the first car company to put in the 360 one. The 360
Yes.
around view. I know it's on the FX, the Infinity versions of that, or what used to be the FX now. I'm not sure what nomenclature they call them because they changed them to QXs. So it's probably the QX35. But I noticed the new Ford F-150 has the same technology as well.
And a lot
now.
of people are copying it. There's a few other manufacturers that are putting it in. And it's a great thing because, especially when you're pulling into tight spots, it gives you all corners, everything, so you could see if you're going to come up and hit a curb or hit something that you might not just see because the car sits up so high. My likes on it is definitely the zero-gravity seats, which are designed by NASA, and they were some of the most comfortable seats out there. Handles really nice with the all-wheel drive. The only bad I do like or have against the car is the exterior. Nothing wrong with it. It just blends in with every other SUV out in there. Starting price is $22,000, which is about $500 cheaper than their next competitor. And then I give it about an 8 out of 10.
I think that's probably a good and fair thing to do. They're going to sell hundreds of these vehicles.
They are actually 16th out of this year of selling this vehicle out of all cars. It is number 16 sold.
Yeah, it's Nissan are just hitting it out of the park now. They sort of towed this middle line a bit like VW, where they were trying not to do anything too extravagant and not anything too boring. They try to hit it just down the middle of the line, what America wanted. They've hit it right on the money. And I will tell you anything, the older I get, the more happy I am to have things like seats that are designed by NASA because my backside is always uncomfortable. I've even, you know this, Sean, I threw my hip out racing Jags down at Willow Springs in LA because as you get older and you come around corners really fast and you maybe take a corner a bit hard and hit the edge of the track, I just jolted myself just a little bit too much. And so any seats that are cushy and comfortable, I know now why grandparents used to buy these big old squishy cars, because as you become more fragile as you get older, you can't sit in those Recaro seats anymore. It's just too tight to fit in them.
Did you get one of the? Do you have one of those squishy toilet seats yet?
No, but
Those are nice.
Yeah, I should probably get one. The Japanese they have the toilet seats nailed down. They're always heated. And all those things like heated, squishy, foamy toilet seats.
That's awesome.
I could do a
Sean's
whole
standing
hour.
up now.
I could do a whole hour about toilet
My back's
seats.
trying to hurt talking about the squishiness of this chair and everything.
So very nice seats in that car as well. All right, Oli, deal of the week.
It's courtesy of Seaport Auto, which is seaportauto.com down in McLaughlin. They have a 2007 Toyota Tacoma. It's a double cab SR5. Loaded, very well equipped, just over 62,000 miles, and it's $23,988 silver.
and a good price too as
Yeah,
well.
it's got and custom wheels and tires, bigger wheels and tires.
You have a really hard time finding Toyota Tacomas. They are very rare. So that's the
Popular.
deal of the week. Where is it again, Ollie?
Seaportauto.com on McLaughlin Boulevard.
All right, that's your deal of the week. If you're looking for a truck, hurry up and buy it. We're always online at TestMiles.com. We'll be back next week with some interesting trivia about Bill Cosby, who Brad's been driving around, and we'll talk to Mark Schultz from the Ferrari Club, and he'll sell you a home with multiple garages. That's all coming up on next week's show. Until then, I'm Nick Miles.
Favorite us, tweet us, friend us, love us, all at testmiles.com.